This is a plastic rocker panel off a 2015 Mercedes, and it was broken right across here, hit a curb, and the body shop wanted $3,000 to fix this. Now, they're only going to replace the panel. They're not going to do this kind of patch repair that I'm doing here. We call this the Dutch method of fixing a broken plastic panel or front bumper. And I wasn't even going to do a video on this because, you know, I thought, oh, there's lots of videos. But the problem is there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of advice out there that I don't feel is very helpful. It's kind of like the guy that says, hey, got Walmart engine oil in my car and put it in the engine, it works fine. Of course it works fine. You could say, well, I just got some super glue and glued this with super glue, it works fine. But for how long? When you do this kind of repair, you need to make sure it's permanent. And most of the time you'll hear people saying, oh, you'll fix this like this, it's going to crack again in 2 to 3 years. So we cleaned everything up, lined the panels up, and used this really good tape to tape them together. But I want to show you how we fix the backside. This is significant. And there's a reason you want to use epoxy and heavy fiberglass matte cloth when doing this repair. If you try to use polyester resin, 5-minute epoxy, cheap fiberglass, you do not want to use this type of fiberglass cloth. You want to use the mesh. And we've put one layer along the crack and another layer, and you can see how thick this is. And notice it doesn't flex at all. If you go over here, you can see the flex, but where the repair is, absolutely no flex. Now, why do you want to have it so there's no flex? So let me explain. There are a lot of epoxies that you'll find online, and you even have people saying, well, use 5-minute Gorilla Glue or whatever. You don't want to use a 5-minute epoxy. It won't give you enough time to work the epoxy into the mesh. Look at this. This takes about 2 hours before it starts to tack off, and then it takes overnight to dry. And you can see how strong it is. The other thing is it doesn't dry brittle hard. So this is it, G-Flex. This is what you want to use. It's not cheap, but you get what you pay for. And then the other thing is you want to make sure you rough up the plastic as rough as you can get it before you ever apply epoxy to it. I'm going to show you an example here. Look at our mixing container here. The stick is rough, and I cannot get the stick out of the epoxy. But watch what happens when I try to pry the epoxy out of the plastic cup. You see that? You've got to really, I'm talking really rough up the surface before you apply the G-Flex and the fiberglass cloth. Now we've pulled the tape off the back side, and now we're going to start sanding a groove, a V groove along the crack here in preparation for using the filler. Here's something I want to show you, particularly those of you who are not believers in this particular epoxy. I know it sounds like I'm trying to oversell this, but watch this. Here's a drip that came on the outside on a smooth surface that we did not sand. Watch me try to get this off with a knife. Now most epoxies, particularly 5-minute epoxies, would just pop right off. But you can see I can hardly even cut this off. And if you notice, it maintains a slight, very slight flex, which is important for the long-term health of this repair here. Now you're going to see why I recommend putting such a thick layer of epoxy and fiberglass cloth on the back side, because this is what you want to have when you get ready to fill. I know some people will just come in and cut a little teeny V groove in the crack. The problem is you're exposing yourself to that re-cracking again in 2 to 3 years due to vibration. So we've ground this down in a big V so we can come in here and actually spread the filler with no sharp lines that you see here. And notice we've just come down to that epoxy here. And you say, well, Kent, maybe you've weakened that epoxy. Watch this. There's no way that even flexes. Look at over here. A lot of flex in the original plastic. No flex here. That's what we want. No flex. We don't want any cracks in the future. And this is what I'm going to use. I'm not going to use regular auto body filler. I'm using Bondo glass. This is polyester resin with reinforced fiberglass strands cut into it. So this will bond, and the fiberglass strands will prevent any potential for cracking here. Once we base coat it with this, then we'll come in and do the final coat and smoothing with regular auto body filler. When working with this Duraglass, you have to stay right on it here. You don't want this to get hard. You're going to wear yourself out sanding it. You want to use what's called a cheese grater, and just when it starts to harden, you want to shape it. Now you got to be real careful. If you start too soon with this, you're going to peel the Duraglass off, but I think I'm right where I need to be here. I'm just going to lightly shape this, and this will help me reduce the amount of sanding I have to do when I get ready to apply that final coat. Don't we just love cheese grating? Look at that. My intention was not to do a complete video on how to do every single step. You know, there's lots of videos on YouTube about doing auto body repair, but I want to show you where we are right now. We did put that layer of Duraglass on, we cheese grated it, and then we came in with block sanding with 40 grit, and we've got it fairly well shaped out. We have a few low spots, and now we're going to start the process of skimming this whole area with the regular auto body filler before we do our final blocking. I thought I'd leave you with this final shot here of the panel primed and ready for top coat. I'm sure some of you are saying, well, Kent, why didn't you just buy a new panel? Well, I can't argue that. If that's what you want to do, go ahead, but I tell you, you're going to miss out on a lot of fun.